Hello, hello, hello. Who had all-out thermonuclear war between Pink Floyd and Roger Waters on their 2023 prog rock bingo card? Hey, we're meant to be celebrating 50 years of Dark Side of the Moon, goddammit. Well, it's all gone rather interesting. There was a tweet posted by Polly Sampson. Polly Sampson is Mrs. David Gilmour. And, well, she posted this. Which I think you'll find is rather choice, isn't it? She posted that. I'll let you read it. I want you to read it. I want you to take it all in. Yeah? Oh. Pretty choice, isn't it? And then Roger posted this. Right? God, it's all happening. But then it gets better, because about, well, just over an hour ago, Mr. David Gilmour quote tweeted his missus with this. Oh, some ears are burning tonight. Now you're probably wondering why. Where's this come from? What's going on? Where did this all come from? Well, you have to backtrack a bit, because there was an article in Berlinger Zeitung. Here we go. You can read it, but it's in German. But yeah, it's quite a big article. Lots going on there, but there's also good job we can find a translation. There is a translation of it here. And yeah, it goes on a lot about the situation in Ukraine and Putin. And again, he takes Russia's side. He says, I called Putin a gangster. But you got to remember, it took him 6 months to write an email to Putin. This is after he'd already mansplained the war and the illegal invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the history of Ukraine to the president's wife. Yeah, he did that. Well, that proves that he's misogynistic. Immediately, you don't mansplain Ukrainian history to the wife of the president of Ukraine, but Mr. Roger Waters thinks that's acceptable. But yeah, they ask him. The journalist is pretty tight. And again, I can put these links in the description so you can read them. But yeah, he goes on about fighting Nazism, the usual tropes that are pushed out. The Donbass, Nazism. Oh. And then he goes on to say that there's one quote in there. So, would you live in Russia? And he said, yeah, I've got no problem going to live in Russia. And they ask him the same question about Israel, and he goes, oh, I wouldn't live there because it's not a democratic state. Well, neither's Russia. And again, without everything else, because he talks about, again, I'm not a defender of Israel. I'm in the middle. I think both sides need their heads knocking together. Israel and Palestine. Again, if you support one, you are in favour of the destruction of the other. That's your choice, right? And I'm not going to make that choice. But I believe that Palestine deserves to exist, and so does Israel. So there you go. Just before you go on at me in the comments. But yeah, he goes on about living in Russia being fine, but Israel all bad. But he doesn't bring in all the bad things. I mean, again, if Roger Waters was gay in Russia, he'd have a bloody hard time of it, wouldn't he? You'd have a bloody hard time of it. Um, you know. But yeah, he really doubles down. He doubles down on anti-Ukraine sentiment, and how we should be stopping the war, and how NATO and US are, provoking everything, blah de blah de blah. And if anyone else disbelieves that Russia is correct in their invasion, it's because we've been, brainwashed. He says it here, brainwashed by the Western mainstream media. Yeah. And yeah, so this is what's inspired Polly Sampson's tweet, I believe, because you really do have to read it to believe it. He believes in sanctions for one lot of people, i.e. Israel. So, oh yeah, sanctions are fine, but you shouldn't have sanctions against Russia. He's a hypocrite. He's an utter hypocrite. Yeah, and he even thinks that the charity single that Floyd recorded in aid of Ukraine, he calls it sad, and that it lacks humanity. And that's a real low blow. So that's why Polly Sampson's come out, all guns blazing, and taken him down. And here we are. Here we are. Now, I really do hope that there is a court case. I would love to see him try and fight a libel, because, as Gilmore says, it's all demonstrate. He can demonstrate that every statement there is provable, because they wouldn't have posted. These are smart people. These are not stupid people. Waters has kind of fallen into their trap, because they didn't make that. They didn't make that tweet offhand or in temper. This was carefully constructed for him to wander into it, because he's arrogant and he's not that smart. Roger Waters isn't that clever. You remember, his entire career is based on the legacy of Sid Barrett. Remember that. That's all he's at. He read a few books. He's had crikey, more wives than I've had hot dinners. This person is deeply unpleasant and puts forward his poison as a call for peace. Well, if you wanted peace, you'd say, well, Russia should never have invaded. That's the simple thing. It's really easy. It's really simple, but you can't do that. So yeah, this is absolutely, utterly bonkers and exciting. This is better than a Pink Floyd box set. This is better than a 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon with only 2 albums worth of content in. This is a present. This is a gift for all of us, because if we're lucky, there might be a court case, and they're going to make Roger Waters get up in court and try and prove that he's not anti-Semitic. That's going to be fun. When the Anti-Defamation League, who used to be on his side, turned against him, so they're going to be witnesses for the prosecution, and it's going to be very hard. Lip syncing, yeah, he does that. Come on, he was doing that. Crikey, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years. That's something he's always done, and Gilmore wouldn't double down on it and stand behind Polly Sampson's tweet if they didn't think they had a bloody strong case against him. So it's exciting, isn't it? Isn't it exciting? This is better. This is better than anything. So yeah, I will link to the interview, the English translation of the interview, and you can either agree with me or disagree. But don't come at me saying that, Ukraine, Nazis, ethnic cleansing, Donbass, the usual nonsense, the stuff you've been fed. Because you get them here. And you can just get rid of them by saying, so you agree with the invasion of a sovereign nation. That's what you agree with that then. And they never agree. They'll just throw some warped historical, allegory at you. This justifies it. Of course it does. So yeah, wonderful. And of course, I make this video because I'm hoping that it'll get lots of views. Clickbait. I admit it, but also I really want to talk about it because I was astounded. Again, somebody mentioned it in the comments. Let me just see if I can pull that up, because I give them some credit, because I was bumbling around in my little world, not really aware of it. And is it Comedy Vinyl? Again, everyone's got different names these days. Yeah, Comedy Vinyl said to me, wait till you see what he said now, and Mrs. Gilmore getting involved in a most lol-worthy way. And I thought, what's going on? So yeah, thanks Comedy Vinyl for turning me on to this, because I'm like, I think I follow David Gilmour, but I don't follow Polly Sampson. So yeah, I came a bit late to it, and then I traced it backwards, and I thought, wow, this is. And then, like I say, Gilmour chimes in an hour ago, and I thought, I've got to make a video about this. This is just epic. This takes me back, because again, for those of you who can remember, when the Floyd had, it was between momentary lapse of reason and division bell. There was an awful lot of acrimony between Waters and Gilmour, and I used to enjoy it when Gilmour used to give interviews and he'd say, well, I played the bass on all the albums. He never played the bass, and it reminds me of those days, because Gilmour used to really to put the knife in then. And it used to make me chuckle, because I imagine Gilmour saying, yeah, we'll just delete that, and him just quickly going over. Imagine if all the bass playing on every Pink Floyd record was actually re-recorded by Gilmour. That would be fantastic. That would be very, very funny. So yeah, that's it. That's me blabbering on about, I don't know, a beef. Is this a beef? Is this a spat? I don't know. I don't know what you'd call it, between Polly Sampson, Roger Waters, and Mr. Dave Gilmour himself. I mean, who'd have thunk it in this year of celebration for the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd? So yeah, do check out the interview. Do laugh and retweet Polly Sampson and Davy Boy Gilmour. And yeah, we'll reconvene when there's something else to talk about. I mean, I just can't. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect that. But I think, again, it goes back to him having a real dig at the charity single that the Floyd put out. Again, which I think is a very positive thing. Raising money for aid. I mean, that's why I don't understand understand Waters' Wade. He'd done it because Gilmour's more of a humanitarian than he is. And there's a really interesting video that Gilmour did where he's being interviewed about the making of that single. I think it was recorded last year, and you can see he really cares about it. He's really touched by the whole thing, and Waters didn't want him to have that. He sees it sad and alien. What, doing something for your fellow man? Okay then. And that's that. My name's Darren Locke. I've been blabbering on about, I don't know, the second Pink Floyd war, I think we call it. Can we call it? Should we call it that? It's gone thermonuclear. And that's it. Thank you for watching. There's only one more thing left to say, and that is, shut up.